It's February 2026, and LeBron James is doing something we've never seen before in NBA history. Year 23, 41 years old, still lacing up, still cashing checks, still carrying the weight of a $52 million contract, while dealing with right side sciatica and arthritis in his foot.
You know, Stu, you look at games later on in the year, especially when the Lakers go to OKC. You know, we really haven't seen OKC. We're going to go to their...
That's not a fairy tale. That's the reality. At the same time, the media keeps pushing the idea that stacking up more stats automatically makes someone the greatest ever. But here's what some Lakers fans are starting to whisper way up in the cheap seats. This doesn't look like a championship chase anymore. This looks like a numbers chase. It feels less like a title run and more like a spreadsheet update.
Czar's not one of them yet.
Oh, there it is. Triple-double. There it is. Now he looks to JJ. Get me out of here.
Time out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm done.
It's almost like the people behind the Laker bench know the stats as well.
He's chasing a ghost he can't catch, and the longer he stays, the more that gap between longevity and pure dominance starts to show. One guy stayed around forever, the other owned the league at his peak. That's the tension nobody wants to say out loud. While LeBron manages minutes, rests on back-to-backs, and waits for the moment his sons step into the league, we've got to ask the real question. Was Jordan versus LeBron ever a true basketball debate? Or was it a branding machine built to stretch across 2 generations? Is this 23-year run superhuman greatness? Or is it staying active long enough to pump up the totals because the peak doesn't match Jordan's? Drop it in the comments right now. Are you riding with longevity or dominance?
I find 40,000 points as a longevity record, an achievement, to be as astonishing as anything I've ever seen in the history of sports. It's virtually impossible to do, but he did it by extreme longevity. He has revolutionized the way that a professional athlete takes care of his body, just on nutrition, fitness, supplements, all the above. Knowing how to do it, he has shattered the mold of what you can do in basketball. Because obviously, he's now played 15,000 more minutes than Jordan was able to play. All this, though, is longevity achievement. Of course.
The first thing every LeBron defender shouts is 40,000 points. Now in 2026, he's cleared 50,000. On paper, that's a mountain. No debate there, but look closer at the climb. LeBron is in year 23. Michael Jordan played 15 seasons. That's an 8-year difference. 8 extra seasons to stack numbers.
LeBron, congrats on 50,000 points. It only took you 22 years.
Think about it like this. If a runner gets a huge head start in a marathon, does that suddenly make them the fastest? Of course not. Jordan won 10 scoring titles in 15 seasons. LeBron has 1 scoring title across 23 seasons. That's not just a stat, that's a statement. Jordan didn't need 2 decades to prove he ran the league. He showed up, took over the scoring crown, and held it like it was his personal property. Fast forward to 2026. LeBron is averaging around 21 points per game. Respectable numbers, solid veteran presence, smart plays, but nobody ever called Jordan or Kobe solid. Nobody described them as nice. They stepped on the floor looking to dominate every single night. By year 23, LeBron is playing next to Luka Doncic, who is leading the league in scoring and driving the Lakers' offense. Luka is carrying the scoring load. LeBron is more of a high-level role player with a max contract attached to his name. That's a wild shift. Jordan, he would rather walk away than slide into the background as the 2nd or 3rd option on a team fighting just to stay near the top of the standings.
He's going to be 41. It's in his 23rd years. Stat padding his way to ignorant folks out there thinking that's going to make him the GOAT over Jordan, not realizing that most of the stuff it took him to do in 20 plus years, Jordan did in 13. We going to look at all of that stuff, and that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I'm telling you where the hell I stay.
Now here's a stat that hits hard. Before Jordan ever won his first ring, 6 full seasons, he had only 4 games shooting under 35%. 4 games. That's ridiculous consistency. That's elite focus, night after night. Compare that to LeBron in the 2008 playoff series against Boston. In that one series alone, he had the same number of sub-35% shooting games. Through the first 6 games of that matchup, he shot 32%. That's tough. Imagine Jordan in his prime missing 2 out of every 3 shots for multiple games. It simply didn't happen. When Jordan lost early in his career, he went down swinging. He dropped 63 points on the 1986 Celtics, a squad many people call one of the greatest ever assembled. Against the bad boy Pistons, he averaged 45 points. They built an entire defensive strategy called the Jordan Rules just to slow him down, and even then he was cooking. LeBron's response to heavy pressure moments tells a different story. In 2010, facing elimination against Boston, he scored 15 points in a season-on-the-line game. After that series, he left for Miami. That moment still hangs over the debate like a shadow. Now here we are in the 2025-26 season. The King looks more like a part-time worker than a takeover artist. He missed 14 games at the start of the season with sciatica. He's dealing with arthritis in his foot.
Just checked in for the first time.
Every time the Lakers have a back-to-back, the injury report reads like a medical chart. Fans in Los Angeles are getting restless. They're watching a 41-year-old take up $52 million in cap space while Luka does the heavy lifting. The trade deadline passed. The roster still needs depth, and the financial flexibility just isn't there. That contract isn't small. It shapes everything. This isn't about disrespect, it's about perspective. One legend built his case on peak dominance that crushed the league in a short window. The other is building his on durability and totals across 2 decades. 2 different paths, 2 different styles. So the question still stands. Is staying longer the same as ruling harder? Or does true greatness come from owning the moment when it matters most? The debate keeps getting louder, and the clock keeps ticking. Let's break this down for a second. LeBron has turned one of the most historic franchises in sports into something that feels personal. After a 119-110 loss to OKC, he told reporters the Lakers aren't a championship team. That's not rumor, that's straight from him. So if the title isn't the goal right now, what is?
Where are you seeing the gaps between like where they're at and the things they do well consistently versus like kind of the build that you guys are trying to put together?
You want me to compare us to them?
No, I want to know where you think though that like sort of as this team is on its like.
That's a championship team right there. We're not. So I don't understand.
What are the biggest things you think that are keeping this team as right now?
We can't sustain energy and effort for 48 minutes, and they can. That's why they won a championship.
It starts to look less like a ring chase and more like a timeline move, waiting for his younger son Bryce to reach the league. This feels like a retirement tour dressed up as another season. When Michael Jordan played in Washington at 40, people criticized him heavy. But here's the part they forget. He suited up for all 82 games, every single one. LeBron hasn't played 70 games in a season since 2018. That's not hate, that's the stat sheet talking. And if you think the GOAT debate is still untouchable, look at the culture. During the Super Bowl 60 halftime show, Bad Bunny took a public shot at LeBron in front of 135 million viewers. He reminded the world that 5'10" JJ Barea won a championship before LeBron did. That line stung because it pokes at something real. Jordan never had a finals moment where people questioned his nerve. Go back to the 2011 finals. LeBron had Dwyane Wade and Chris Bosh. Miami was favored. The spotlight was blazing, and he struggled. He averaged 2.2 points in the fourth quarter during that series. Let that sink in. The biggest star in the league getting outplayed late in games when everything was on the line. Now stack that against Jordan in the finals, 6-0, no game sevens. When the pressure rose, his scoring average jumped from 30 in the regular season to 33 in the finals. That's elevation, that's control. In 2007, 2011, and even 2014, LeBron had final stretches where teams found ways to slow him down. With Jordan, you didn't solve him. You just hoped he cooled off for a few minutes. Let's use game score, the stat that measures total impact in one game. In elimination games, the nights that define legacies, Jordan averaged a 28.3 game score. LeBron, 19.6. That gap isn't small. That's the difference between someone taking over and someone having a solid night. When you're in the GOAT conversation, solid doesn't cut it. LeBron supporters say he's more complete because of rebounds and assists. Fair point, but context matters. In 2026, the league runs at a wild pace. Teams average around 115 points a game. In the early 90s, teams were lucky to hit 95. Fewer possessions, more contact, slower tempo, different battlefield. Imagine 1991 Jordan in today's NBA. No hand checking. Freedom of movement rules. Wide open spacing with shooters everywhere. He wouldn't just score 30, he could push 40 or more with that space. He'd live at the free throw line. Meanwhile, LeBron has played much of his prime in an era where heavy contact often gets called quick. Jordan dealt with hits that were just another night in Detroit. Now, in 2026, the final chapter of LeBron's career is creating noise. The headlines aren't about defensive rotations or playoff seeding. They're about whether he'll stay healthy long enough to share the court with Bryce in 2027. That becomes the storyline. There's also talk about roster decisions. The Lakers drafted his older son, and critics say the front office is shaped around his timeline. Fair or not, that perception exists. People ask, would Jordan have ever pushed management to line things up for a personal milestone? His reputation says he was locked in on winning above everything. As LeBron moves deeper into season 23, more milestones will fall. More 30-point nights, more triple-doubles at 40, more records stacked on the resume. The numbers will keep growing, the debate will keep burning, and the question stays loud: does lasting longer equal ruling harder? The King title is starting to feel less like a symbol of dominance and more like an award for simply lasting a long time. Greatness isn't about how many seasons you log, it's about how you perform when everything is on the line. Jordan gave the league 15 years of relentless, cold-blooded excellence. LeBron has given 23 years of greatness. Yes, but also moments that critics say don't match the hype. Let's be clear, this isn't about saying LeBron isn't top 5. He absolutely is. This is about tiers. Putting him next to Michael Jordan is like comparing a marathon runner to a world-class sprinter. One covered more distance, the other exploded past everyone at full speed and owned the finish line. Longevity is impressive. Dominance is unforgettable. LeBron can play as long as his body allows, chase more milestones, stack more numbers. But the shadow of 1998 still hangs over this debate. That last shot, that last run, that perfect 6-0 record. When people think of basketball's ultimate peak, that's the image burned into history. LeBron may be the king of longevity, but to many fans, Michael Jordan remains the king of basketball. That's the line in the sand. Now I want to hear from you. If you think LeBron's 23-year run is about stacking stats, or if you believe longevity matters more than peak dominance, drop your take in the comments right now. Keep it respectful, bring the facts, and stand on your side of the debate. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button so more fans can jump into the conversation. Share this video with someone who's still arguing the GOAT debate at work tomorrow. And if you want more deep dives that challenge the biggest stories in sports, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. We're just getting started. See you in the next video.